Sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Sunnydale Café, glinting off the polished metal tables. A morning breeze drifted in, carrying the scent of oak leaves and freshly mowed grass, mingling with the aroma of pancakes, sizzling bacon, and strong coffee. Normally, this place radiated warmth and comfort, but today, the sunlight couldn't chase away the shadows lurking in the hearts of a few mischievous boys. In a corner by the window sat a girl. Her wheelchair rested quietly in front of her, and a plate of freshly made blueberry pancakes sat on the table like a fragile shield against the world. Her name was Clara Bennett, 16 years old, reliant on a wheelchair due to a spinal condition. Her face carried a quiet, resilient calm, but the slight trembling of her hands betrayed her nervousness. The boys at the next table weren't just giggling. They had gone too far. Jason Miller swatted Clara's pancakes to the floor with a loud thunk, while Kyle Thompson gave her wheelchair a mocking push. The air in the cafe seemed to freeze. The crash of the pancakes was drowned out by their cruel laughter. Clara's eyes filled with tears, her chest burning with humiliation as she struggled to hold herself together. Clara had grown up in Sunnydale, a small town where everyone knew each other, but closeness didn't always mean warmth. Born with a spinal defect, she had relied on her wheelchair all her life. Her parents had always told her that her spirit was meant to soar, even if her legs couldn't. She clung to that belief, even as the world seemed intent on crushing it. Every day, she faced stares, whispered comments, and pitying smiles, reminders that she often felt isolated. But that morning at the cafe, the cruelty went beyond pity. It was sharp, deliberate, and cruel enough to wound the soul. Patrons lowered their heads, shaking them quietly, yet no one spoke. Samantha Carter, a waitress holding a tray, froze, her hands trembling. Clara bent down to gather the fallen pancakes, trying not to draw more attention. Then, a warm hand reached down, not rough, not mocking, but gentle and firm. An older man, streaked with gray, picked up the plate and returned it to her. "Don't mind them," he murmured, his eyes flicking nervously toward the boys. The gesture was like a small light in a dark room, subtle but comforting. Clara still felt fragile. Her throat tightened with unspoken questions. Why was the world like this? Why did some people think it was okay to hurt those who were different? Her heart pounded with each cruel laugh, each one striking her like a blow. She closed her eyes, silently praying for the hour to pass, for the nightmare to end. Then, the cafe door chimed. Clara looked up and saw the parking lot filled with motorcycles. Dozens of engines rumbled, low and menacing, echoing like distant thunder. The bikes gleamed in the sunlight, tires rolling over asphalt, making hearts race. The riders wore leather jackets emblazoned with the Hells Angels insignia. They parked in perfect lines, forming a barrier of steel and leather. The boys' bravado evaporated instantly. Their confident smiles faded to fear. Everyone knew the Hells Angels' reputation. They were fearless, relentless, and uncompromising. The cafe door opened, and the room fell into tense silence. A tall man with a beard and steely eyes entered, his leather jacket heavy with patches. Behind him, others filed in, shrinking the space and thickening the air with tension. Clara's heart raced, part fear, part curiosity. The leader's gaze swept the cafe, finally settling on Clara. He approached, his heavy boots echoing on the tile, and knelt beside her wheelchair. For the first time that morning, Clara didn't feel small. She felt seen, protected. His name was Rory "Roar" McAllister, in his early 40s, serious but warm. He turned to the bullies. Their faces went pale, shame replacing arrogance. They shrank back into silence, unable to meet her gaze. Outside, the motorcycles formed a protective wall, ensuring the boys felt the full weight of humiliation. Roar didn't stop there. He called Samantha over. placing a check on the table. Let her order anything. Pancakes, milkshakes, pies. Everything. Then he looked at Clara and said she was stronger than any coward who had tried to break her. Finally, he removed his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. You're one of us now. Tears ran down Clara's face, not of shame, but of gratitude. In that hour, her world shifted. The morning's pain turned into profound relief. She realized that kindness could come from unexpected places, and even the fiercest-looking people might have the gentlest hearts. In the following weeks, Clara's life quietly changed. She joined the Sunnydale High Photography Club and wrote for the school yearbook, advocating against bullying and for disability rights. She befriended Maya Rodriguez and Ethan Parker, who admired her courage and often kept her company during lunch. Clara learned to express her emotions. Whenever she felt lonely or hurt, she wrote in her journal. Gradually, she realized that words could be an extension of her strength. She also began sharing her story on social media, encouraging respect for differences and bravery in the face of bullying. The people of Sunnydale began to notice the little girl's courage. Regulars at the cafe greeted her warmly, and she no longer felt invisible. Roar and the Hells Angels riders became not just protectors in moments of crisis, but friends who offered support and encouragement in everyday life. As the days passed, Clara's confidence grew. She tried new hobbies, skateboarding, painting, and creating short videos to reach other teens who had felt isolated. Whenever challenges arose, she remembered that morning at the cafe, Roar's jacket and his warm gaze, and drew strength from it. As the school year progressed, Clara became somewhat of a well-known figure on campus. She was invited to speak at the school's Diversity and Inclusion Day, sharing her experiences, the morning at the cafe, Roar's kindness, and the rider's protection. Students listened intently, some quietly wiping away tears. For the first time, Clara realized her story not only gave her strength, but could inspire others. She understood now. Cruelty exists in the world, but so do courage and kindness. Sometimes, a stranger's compassion can rewrite a life. Clara's life was now filled with hope. She no longer feared or shrank back. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would never feel alone again. Sunnydale was no longer just a place of isolation. It was a stage where she could show courage and forge friendships. Clara understood that true strength came not from physical ability, but from inner resilience and the ripple of kindness. And she had become the hero of her own story. During the next holiday break, Clara, Maya, and Ethan volunteered at the town's community center, organizing a charity sale to support children with special needs. Seeing the joy in the children's eyes reminded Clara of that morning at the cafe, how one act of warmth had changed her life and inspired her to be a light for others. From that day forward, Clara was no longer just the quiet girl in a wheelchair. She became a symbol of Sunnydale's spirit. Whether at school, the cafe, or community events, her courage and kindness touched those around her, making the world a warmer, brighter place.